welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be reviewing, finally, Amphibia Season 3, Episode 17, called All In. And I have two clips, so I'm going to be in this one, and then I'm going to jump into the second one, but it's going to be edited together, so I don't really need to say that, but again, if you've been on my channel for a while, I usually like to talk about behind the scenes stuff of like, hey, there's two clips that can use, so that's why it looks different. Obviously, you can see the title on the left corner, so obviously it's gonna say something different. But yeah, so I'm gonna do episode 17 today, and I'm gonna do episode 18, the finale, the finale on Wednesday. Yeah. So that way on Thursday I can do my end of era 1 video, because I still kind of want to do that because Amphibia is my first show. I'm not sure if I'm going to do end of era 2 or end of era 3 for the Owl House and Big City Greens and stuff like that, or maybe should I save my end of era 1 for my first few shows that I started reviewing? Like, let's see. I'm doing 5 right now. So, like the first 3. Because I was planning on having 6, but the 6th one hasn't come out yet, so I have 5, so maybe the first 3, so that would be Amphibia, The Owl House, and Big City Greens. Yeah, I think I'll just wait for my end of era 1, because that would kind of make sense, multiple shows in an era. It would kind of make sense because those are the first 3 shows that I did, and then I kind of went into Secrets of Silver Springs and The Ghost of Molly McGee. That came like way later, so it would kind of make sense to get the first 3 shows like done. So yeah, I just now I'm just started thinking about it. It kind of makes sense to wait for my end of era 1, like not even review, like I guess session. I don't know. But so maybe I will do episode 18 today. Yeah, so I'll do episode 17 and 18 today on Tuesday. Wednesday I will do I'll do Big City Greens season 2 episode 16. That will be on Wednesday. Thursday will be episode 17. Friday will be episode 18. Saturday will be episode 18, and Sunday will be episode... Wait, I think I said 18 twice. I think Sunday will be episode 20. And that way, when I get through the rest of the week and the weekend, I will only have 10 episodes left for Big City Greens Season 2, because it will only be episodes 21 to 30. So, yeah, that'll be 10 left. And maybe like the following week, that's when I'll do Secrets of Silver Springs. Yeah, I think that's when I'll do that. So let's get started with All In. So where we left off basically is that the 3 armies were basically leaving. King Andres and Darcy basically won. They started invading Earth. We saw the castle on Earth. We saw that our good guys are going to be fitted for collars and stuff like that. And basically first things first, so what we see is... Oh, actually, the first thing we see is actually another flashback. And this is actually the day before the flashback of reunion. It's the day before Anne's birthday. So technically, Anne's still 12. She's like 12 and a half still. It's weird to see Anne as not 13. But technically, she's a tween, even though she looks the same and sounds the same. But that's technically what it is, because right before you're 13, you're kind of like 12 and a half or 12 3/4. I'm just gonna say 12 and a half. But basically, you have Sasha and Marcy being manipulative a bit and doing shenanigans, and there's the principal lady, and we see the principal, and she's nice, but she's stern. She's like, oh everyone, like the announcements like for the day, basically. Because that's important. Sasha's like, enough of that boring stuff, time to have a K-pop party. I'm not a fan of K-pop, but it didn't sound bad. So everyone's having a good time, and Anne's kind of questioning, because she's that person, like, should we be doing this? And Marcy's like, yeah, sure. And then, well, okay, Marcy, you released the puppies. Who let the dogs out, everybody. And you just see Marcy just holding a puppy, they're just dancing, and then all the lights, the lights come back on, the smoke and stuff, it's gone. And this is dog on top of the principal's head, and there's a dog that's biting the principal's like slacks, and she's like, Boon Choi, woo, way bright, my office now. And then they're kind of worried, and then Sasha's like, oh, don't worry about it. And she's like, way bright. She goes in, Marcy and Anne are kind of worried. Sasha, I almost said way bright. Sasha comes back, and then the principal's like, woo, like, your turn. And Marcy goes in, and and it ends like talking to Sasha, was it bad? And she's like, no, she just wished my leadership skills went to something positive. And yeah, Sasha, yeah. And dude, that's like a nice way of saying it, of stop being manipulative. And she is, so that's good. So the principal saw that she has potential, basically. And basically, Marcy comes back, and then she's like, oh, Sasha and like, well, and she's like, oh, she just was very impressed how I hacked the PA system. Oh, okay. And then she's like, Boon Choi, and she goes in, and Anne's like, yeah, I got this. She's like, hey, so what's up, dude? Don't do that to the principal, unless like you're kind of, I don't want to say buddy, because that usually doesn't happen. But with some shows, like sitcom shows, kind of like I'm thinking Boy Meets World and Girl Meets World and stuff like that, or Principal Franklin of iCarly, where you basically know the principal, so you kind of get along, where if they allow you, and this is a very rare thing in real life, very, very rare, they allow you to call you by the first name and stuff like that. But please be careful. Don't say, oh, this person said it'll be good. No. Be careful. Please be careful with that. But she's like, oh, what's up, dude? Like, she's like, no. And the principal's kind of nice with it. Oh, sub is not going to be the start of it. And she's like, I'm worried about you, Boon Choi. And she's like, oh, what do you mean? She's like, she puts a big file. It kind of reminds me of what was in the Owl House, season 1, episode 9. And I did my review of that, where I liked the Ida B plot better than the Gus A plot. The Gus A plot wasn't bad. I just preferred the Ida B plot, because Ida's like my favorite character overall, and also my favorite older character. So yeah, she's great. And I love when Principal, what was it, harmonious bump puts her paperwork of Mrs. Jenko minus teeth and everything, like everything you did, Evelyn. And she's like, oh, I thought there'd be more. So kind of the same thing with the principal, not as big, but like this is Anne's school record, basically. Incomplete after incomplete, like you're not focusing. Like, Anne, you are a smart, bright girl, but you're not pushing yourself to be more. And be honest with me, those two girls manipulated you and pressured you to do this stunt. She's like, no. And she gave a look, kind of like how Hop Hop would. And she's like, yeah, maybe. She's like, Anne, I want you to write an essay for me. She's like, what? Marcy and Sasha don't get to write an essay? That's because they don't. And because Sasha even though I don't really agree what Sasha and Marcia are really doing to you as a person and to your well-being, and like what they're gonna do to life, but at least they're doing something to their life which could lead to something good. Marcy's probably gonna solve world hunger, and Sasha's just gonna boss her way through life. She's gonna be some sort of corporate overlord. That's probably not gonna be a good thing, but at least it's something. Oh jeez. And Anne's like, ouch, because when I kind of think of Anne at this point, kind of think, because she even writes on the top of the paper, who am I? And she's like, I want you to write this to me. Write an essay about who you want to be and what do you want to do to make a change in your life, and what changes are you willing to make to make that your good life, basically. And that's not exactly what she said, but I'm kind of trying to remember. And then, she's basically said, hey, it's tomorrow's your birthday, right? And yeah, a little happy early birthday. And that's basically what happens if we get to the present. But I just want to say, when I saw that paper says, who am I? I'm kind of thinking, yeah, what will Anne do in the future? And I'm kind of thinking, well, because of the different aspects that we've seen, I see Anne as either someone's going to join in the army, but she knows how to use a sword and stuff like that. So, and she's not the best leader. Sasha is more fit for that role, but I think Anne would be like a decent job, and she could probably learn. So, be in the army. I think that'll be one thing. Probably an Air Force pilot, because she can ride Domino too. So, I think she'd be pretty cool in the air. She could be with what's his name in the movie? Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, she could be on that team. That'd be pretty cool. Imagine Anne Boonchoi and Top Gun Maverick interacting. That'd be awesome. Come on, let's fund this thing. Come on, that'd be awesome. But anyway, what was I saying? Right, she could be in the Air Force. We've seen her cook. She could be a chef. She could be one of those Restaurant Impossible type of people where, remember, she fixed Stumpy's restaurant. So she could be good at innovating and renovating, stuff like that. That's another one. I guess just being a restaurant owner, but I think that's kind of with being a chef, but I guess not really. You can be separate. So that's a fourth thing. Being a musician. She knows how to play a guitar player. She knows how to play the guitar, a bass guitar, and she knows how to write songs. So those are top 6 things that Anne Boonchoi could do. And it could just be entirely different. I would love to be surprised that it could be something different, but it totally fits. If she does, I'm doing this, it absolutely makes no sense, and it doesn't fit with her or where she leaves off in the series finale. I was like, why did you do that? But if you do something, it's like years later, then, and you just didn't see that progression, I would like to see some progression of that where it would make sense. But I have faith in the crew to make a good decision if we would see Anne years later in a job. But who knows? But again, that's my top 6 things. Air Force pilot, restaurant owner, chef in a restaurant, the restaurant remodeler person, guitar player in a band, and songwriter. And I guess singer. I guess singer would be 7. Because some people just write the songs and they don't sing it. It's rare, but it happens. So that's 7. That's my top 7 things. But with that out of the way, we get back to Anne and the president, and they're all locked in chains because they're going to be fit for collar soon. We gotta get out of here, or we're going to be collared, and that's done. Because the port lodge are closed, so all the 3 armies are still in Amphibia, and they think, maybe Mr. and Mrs. B can probably do something, but they don't really mention them. So like, what are we going to do? We're all Amphibia's hope, and we're about to be collared. And Anne's like, I have to use my powers. But even Grime suggested, maybe just try brute force again. It doesn't work, of course, Grime. And she said, and then Hop Hop's like, no, Anne, we need you in fighting shape to fight King Andres, and and we can't have you basically be weak. We can't let you be drained. That's a better word, sorry. Because Hop Hop's the grandfather. He cares about it. Like, we need you in fighting shape, like, darling. And my sweet baby child. I think that kind of sounds kind of weird. Anyway, and it's like, okay, you're right. And then Paul's like, hey, Frobo, maybe some of the upgrades I put like in your RC card thing can help out. And he scans, and he does something where the floor basically plummets. Like, oh, and then Polly, I was like saying, because you see the chains kind of this like break off. He's like, I'm gonna like faulty material again. But Polly kind of, I forgot what she said, but she explained the gravity is the reason why he did that. So, and Polly is super smart, and I don't know about this stuff, so I'm trusting in Polly. And even Sprig said, Polly, I'm not used to you being smart. Me neither. And it didn't, basically the chains of Domino 2 and Joe Sparrow go off. Everyone try to get onto Domino 2 and Joe Sparrow. They go. They land in this parking lot, and we see a Lightning McQueen reference, which is pretty funny. They're trying to do the best they can. We see evil Frobos. Well, actually, no, they get to the roof of the parking lot and say, we gotta do something. We gotta help people. And we see a giant Screech, and Hop Pop's like, no. I'm like, what? And oh, I also forgot. King Andre said, oh, hello, primates. Yeah, they're monkeys. Okay. Oh, hello, primates. Congratulations on you being conquered. I have good news and bad news. Good news, here Earth has plenty of resourceful resources. And bad news is we had to exterminate your civilization and your population of humanity to get those resources so our planet of Amphibia can survive. They're like, oh no. And it's the evil lizard king is going to kill us all. Obviously, the army's trying to do the best they can. They can't do anything. And that's when we get to the everyone in the chain. So I forgot about that. But he also launched these eggs thing. And that's where the herons are. Like, and the herons are collared. And with these helmets. And they look really scary and cool. And then Hop Pop's like, then Anne's like, no, those are herons. Like, you know, because Anne's heard of herons before. Those are bad news. And Hop Pop's like, those aren't just any herons. They're the herons. I'm like, oh no. Sprig and Polly's like, you mean those are the ones who killed our parents? I can't believe they said it on screen. Like, ate our parents, actually. Ugh. Because we had to see a heron eat a toad, one toad, and it's back in season 1 in Prison Break. Remember when the because the herons broke in and you just like swallowed the toad? Oh my goodness, that toad's dead. So, and then Hop Pop's like, I recognize them anywhere. Oh, their fearsome eyes and their razor sharp teeth. And we see Hop Pop's like, I came in time to save Sprig and Polly, but I didn't come in time to save your parents. You see we see Hop Pop's with Bessie, and Hop Pop is like, I wasn't gonna veer away. So he got one of those pitchforks things, and then made an X mark on one of the herons that he fought back, which is cool. And we see the X mark, so yeah, that confirms that those are the herons. Well, at least that same heron. That could be another heron, but we're assuming it's the same too. And then Anne's like, hey, it's okay, you guys, but come on, we can do this. And they're going, oh, we're gonna try. Obviously, we see the heron, or no, the evil Frobos are gonna kill these people, and I think the same people that were gonna propose to each other back in Sprig's birthday. So that's pretty cool. And Sasha and we gotta fight back. So they're fighting against the evil Frobos and stuff. They're doing a good job, but then we see a van pull up, and then we see 2 people in these armors like kill the evil Frobos and stuff. They're doing a good job, and they're like, oh, who are you guys? And it's like, and they're like, Anne is Mr. and Mrs. B. There's Anne's parents. And they're like, Mom, Dad, thank goodness you're safe. Yeah, Anne, thank goodness you're safe. You're finally here. And Sasha's like, whoa, a Mr. and Mrs. Boonchoy? And he's like, hi, Sasha. And they greet her with a hug and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. And, you know, yeah, Mrs. Boonchoy hugs. And Mr. X is like, hey, we can do this reunion on the road. We gotta go. And obviously Anne's standoffish. Because the last time we saw Mr. X, he's kind of a bad guy. But we saw the end of Escape to Amphibia. Which was in season 3A, the end of season 3A, where Mr. and Mrs. B was going to explain everything to Mr. X about what's happening, and then she's like, whoa, Mr. X, like, he's like, oh, don't worry, he's on our side. And then basically everyone went into the car, and basically the military is still trying to fight back, and there's a force field, so they're not really doing well, and we basically say, oh, Mom, Dad, I can't believe you were with Mr. X. What's going on? Oh, we've been training for, like, the month we've been gone. We've been training. And it's like, oh, that's super cool. We've been gearing up. We've been shooting blasters. And we convinced the government that we weren't fools. We weren't crazy. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. Because we don't want the government to think we're crazy. And, you know, it's like, and Mr. X is like, hey, well, it's great that we have Anne back, so now we can have a fighting chance. And Sasha's back too, so way bright, so that's pretty cool too. But in order to defeat King Andreas, basically, we need to have like a prison like solitude so we can gear up more and have supplies. So do you girls know anything like that? And Sasha's like, we can think of one. And we go to the school, which is pretty funny. And we're basically looking at the TV and excuse me. We basically have the Sprig and the Planters, what was it? They're looking at the TV, and it's like, oh, this giant lizard king is destroying everything. But on another news, crypto's up. And then Hot Pop's like, typical LA. Which, at least what I heard, yeah. But I don't know if it's true or not. But we basically have like a Mrs. Boonjoy's kind of has his food, his spicy food. And, then Grime's kind of like, yeah, it was me, I'm hungry. And and then, here, Grime, like, try this. And, Anne and Sasha went to go basically to I forgot, they get like supplies or something, and we hear Grime scream. It's like, oh, I guess Grime is trying some of your spicy food, and your mom's spicy food. We actually have a conversation between Sprig and Hot Pop where Sprig is holding onto a letter, and then Hot Pop's like, what you got there, boy? And he's like, oh, it's the blank letter that we found in the basement. I don't know. I think it might be important. I thought there could be something with Sprig's goggles because it came from his mom and dad. Something with Sprig's eyes because his eyes looked like they were moving. So the fact that and later on we actually see that spoilers, Mr. X can actually read the letter, and it's in this episode, not in the next episode. It's in this episode, so spoilers ahead because we're talking about this episode all in. But basically his eyes moving like left to right, that meant nothing, so And he's like, and then Sprig's like, once we could finally defeat King Andreas and Darcy, basically save everybody, and then I can do typical stuff. And Hot Pop's like, what do you mean? Oh, typical monster of the week stuff. And then Hot Pop's kind of scratching his head, kind of like, how am I supposed to break it to him? But Hot Pop has to do it. He's like, Sprig, don't you think Anne needs to go back to school and her parents and back to her life? And then Sprig's like, well, Hot Pop, well, Anna's obviously gonna have her parents back. Yeah, sure, and she's gonna have Earth, but Anne's still gonna be a big part of my life. And I'm like, and then Hot Pop's like, yeah, of course she is, kiddo. Like, and they get Sprig, and I'm like, oh, because what if that? Oh, what's gonna happen? Oh, that hit hard. Because of all things that Sprig has lost, Sprig has been through a lot. Sprig has almost died twice, like in both season finales for season 1 and season 2, one by King Andreas and one by Sasha. Which I don't think Sasha really apologized for, but what are you gonna do? The time limit. And so that, and Sprig was this is like stuff from like season 1 stuff, but Sprig was engaged and was broken off the engagement. Sprig's in a relationship. Sprig lost his parents. Sprig has been living with his grandpa, which I guess really isn't a dire situation, but you at least in quote unquote, because it's like very vague quote unquote, you usually live with your parents, but nowadays there's all kinds of families, which isn't bad. Which I'm saying, Sprig living with Hot Pop isn't bad. It's just Sprig's parents were alive. Sprig will usually be with his parents. So I'm just saying. But Sprig has like lost a lot and been through a lot. And gain Anne as a friend, as an older sister. If Sprig has to lose her, oh my goodness, it'd be heartbreaking. But we don't know if that's gonna happen. But maybe setting it up as a big goodbye. It might happen, but basically, Hoppa's gonna say, yeah, of course, Sprig, and we have Polly looking at, oh, hey, what's that over there, Mr. X? It's like, oh, that's a metal shop. No, private school, let me tell you. And then Polly's like, okay, Frobo, time for an upgrade. I was like, and Polly just fixes Frobo on her own. I wish Allie and Jess would have been part of that. I guess Allie and Jess did teach her, but I would just love it they worked together to fix Frobo. It's not a big complaint. I'm just, come on, what? Like, Allie, you're finally on Earth. Allie and Jess are here. Not in the school, but they're here. Come on. But what are you gonna do? And you basically have Anne and Sasha kind of looking for supplies, and then Anne's like looking at her locker. Hey, my locker, and then poof, everything comes out of her locker. Like, oh my goodness, clean her locker, boon choy. And then Sasha's like, ending is gonna help us defeat King Andreas and Darcy in there. And it's like, no. And Sasha's like, hey, what's that? And she's like, oh, this principal wanted me to write a letter essay about who I am. And Sasha's like, oh, that's cool. Like you know, and Sasha's kind of like, oh, kind of like, well, what are you gonna write? So Anne's like, I almost forgotten about this because you've been waiting for a long time. And then Sasha's like, hey, Anne, do you really think we can do this? And then Anne's like, we have to try. And like, you know, and then she's like, and then Sasha's like, it knows our every move. And then Anne says, it knows the old us. And Sasha's like, the old us. And Sasha's like, yeah, and she'll never know what's coming. And she also says, Sasha, I know you feel bad, but even though what you did is what you did, and you can make up for it, but you can't change what you did. Because that's permanent forever unless you can do time travel. But that'll mess things up. But it's permanent forever. It doesn't really matter what you did in the past as long as what matters is what you're doing now. And you know, Sasha, you're trying to make it up. So Darcy has no idea what's coming. Don't worry, Marcy. We are going to save you. And she closes the locker, showing the three girls. We go to Marcy Land? Well, we see Marcy with a bunch of Easter eggs. We see like Megatron and Bill Cipher and stuff like that. But she's like completing puzzles. I'm like, oh, this must be like inside the cord or Darcy's little room thing inside the helmet. And Marcy's like, oh, I complete all these puzzles. I wonder if they're trying to stall her maybe. But she opens the door. She sees like a fantasy land. No, a library. A utopian library. And basically, you know, and she's kind of, you know, thinking of what's going on. She sees a bunch of newts, but like they're orange. So that kind of, this tells me that this is part of the core's mindset of, you know, the greatest minds of all of Amphibia. These are it, like they're like the newts. We see former King Aldrich, and he's like, "Oh, Marcy, woo, like welcome, like to the core." And she's like, "Oh, what's the core? What's going on? Everything's such a blur." Oh, don't worry about the core. It's a place where dreams come true. Look at this, and she turns like a fantasy land. We see a giant dragon, and then you know, and then Marcy's like, "Whoa, this is so cool." And then King Aldrich's like, "Yes, my dear, now come on, let's." And then we actually have Marcy actually saying, hey, I'm King Aldrich. Well, Aldrich, I think she just said. Aldrich, I'm sorry, but I seem like I'm forgetting something. And then he's like, oh, don't worry about that. Oh, I know what you're forgetting. Your map. Oh, how could I forget my map? Oh, yeah, my dear. And then we go back to Darcy, and she's like playing like a video game, basically. Like destroying all the army tanks and stuff like that. She's like, oh, Andreas, like finally we get to make up for your goof mistake, what you did, basically let Leaf go and stuff like that. Well, not Leaf go, like you were not competent enough to catch her, basically. You let the Culinary Box escape from your grasp, basically. You were in charge. And then he's like, oh, who needs friends when you have unlimited power? And he's like, yes, it's everything I wanted. He's looking at this pin. I was like, what's that? And we get to another Marcy flashback where Lady Olivia's like, oh, Marcy, don't really human, don't go in there. And poof, this is after she broke her leg, and back in the theme song take over, which is pretty funny. Well, not funny, but not funny. Whatever. And then we see King Andrews in his pajamas. And he's wearing the coral glasses. I love it. And she's like, whoa, so you're the king of Utopia. He's like, yeah, who are you? Oh, and you know, basically, she's like, oh, Your Majesty, this is the creature named Marcy Wu. And she's like, oh, you're Andreas. Can I call you Dreas? And he's like, one friend used to call me that. I'm like, Beryl and Leaf both called you that, but I guess he's only referring to Leaf. Like, but King Andrews is just that type of guy where he holds grudges and stuff, and the fact that Leaf's the one who left the planet basically and took King Andrews, she never came back because later on King Andrews realizes like, whoa, she came back. But Beryl stayed, and King Andrews had all the time in the world, at least to him, to make things up, make up things with Beryl, to make amends basically. But he just never did it. So, is he making a tighter grudge for Beryl for not mentioning him? Was why not two people? I'm not sure because we never really get into that detail. But yeah, but obviously Marcy's like, whoa, okay, Marcy, come on, boundaries, because. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to get too personal, but she's like, hey, I can definitely fit in your pocket, probably. And Lady Libby's like, what? Oh, the facial expressions are hilarious. And then Marcy, I love you, but I don't like you. Because King Andrews didn't say, okay, yeah, try it out if you want, because I don't think you can do it. She's like, challenge accepted. But no, she just goes on her shoulder, walking with her broken foot, which doesn't make any sense, and goes inside the pocket. And this isn't like a thing with the core where she can do whatever she wants with a broken leg. In a fantasy world, you can do whatever you want. No, this is real life in Amphibia, so that doesn't make any sense. But she's like, oh, I'll give you a little pin. This is the pin that King Andrews is looking at. I hope you like it. And obviously, King Andrews is kind of bouncing Marcy. She's like in her pocket. He's laughing really loud. Oh, indeed I do, Master Marcy. And, Master Marcy. And she's like, oh, Master, I'm a master here? And she obviously says what King Andrews catches her, which is good. Oh, have you seen my friends? I've been, like, I'm worried about them. Well, I would guess that makes sense, but... Well, actually it does make sense, because she's the Utopian night guard, so if you've been doing that, you've been kind of busy instead of just... Because I'm kind of wondering, we know why Sasha didn't go immediately to Anne's, because she was helping building Toe Tower. After, for a month she was in jail, the other month she was rebuilding the tower, basically. So, it kind of makes sense why Sasha didn't go, but Marcy, we don't really know, but I forgot, I don't think I really mentioned, but maybe I did, is that Marcy had a big job serving, like, under the king, like, right under the king. So, it kind of makes sense. But, what was I going to say next? Oh, and basically, and then King Andrew said, oh, don't worry, we're looking for them. It's like, Lady Olivia will show you to the room. Obviously, Lady Olivia bows and Marcy's like, oh, thank you. And then they close the door. King Andrew gets taken to this mind space, and the Core's always saying, like, kill her. And he's like, kill her now? My lord, she's just a child. And then the Core's kind of getting angry with Andreas. It's like, I know the old prophecy states that the girl being alive, like, reduces their chances to win, basically. But killing her would be really unethical, basically. It wouldn't feel right. And then the Core's are kind of, like, we don't understand them, basically. And, understand it. And then Andrew said, oh, what do I suppose? How about there's another prophecy that states that these chosen heroes basically have a choice to, like, expel the responsibility along with the powers. So, and this is where the temples come in. It was all part of King Andrews' plan of getting the powers from the girls without killing them. That's why the reason why he wanted to kill Anne so bad is because Anne still had the powers. She didn't complete the trial all the way through. So, and then Aldrich just interrupts and saying, like, oh, we can finally restore our legacy. Well done, Andres. And we see him with a bunch of orange eyes that look so creepy. And then we see a bunch of tentacles just grab Aldrich and slings him away. We just see King just kind of looking at his pin. And then we get back to King Andrews in present, looking at the pin, basically. Not really paying attention to Darcy, saying, like, yeah, this is everything I wanted. We basically, excuse me. We basically get to this, finally. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's been a while. we basically get the Anne and Sprig basically on Domino 2, and they're flying away from evil Frobos and stuff like that. We have Sprig shooting the boom shrooms and stuff like that, and they're destroying the robots, which is really cool. We see this gigantic Frobo, and it's ready for battle. She gets thrown up there. She's running. It's really cool. She like slices the head. It explodes. You even see the wires. And this is the couple I was talking about. And the evil Frobo is about to come in, and Van squishes it. And we have Terry. Hooray, Terry. Get in. And the evil Frobo is like, help me. Nope. And we have Dr. Jan. Well, that's pretty cool. They're interacting again. And I forgot what they were saying. But I think we have to go to like a safe place. We have Anne Sprig, like, you know, trying to get away from some more evil Frobos. Or this is what this doesn't really look too good. Is this better? Yeah, is that better? Oh yeah, I think this is better. Look at this. So this is Frobo's like design piece. Oh, we even put positive. Oh, look at Frobo's new upgrades, and even Mr. X is like, I love the color scheme because yeah, Mr. X is kind of like your color scheme because the purple and stuff like that. So and the pink for Polly, partial Polly. It's like a pinkish purplish, and I love it. These three. Oh my goodness. Come on, Frobo. Let's show what we got. And oh my goodness. And Polly's like, what the heck? And she's like tapping it, and like, you know, and then the mini I forgot what it's called. Her gun basically came out, and she's like shooting, and I love the exclamation points, like what the heck? And I love this with Hop Hop. My babies are all grown up. They grow up so fast. And I don't like this because I like Hop Hop's line, oh, you think only my grandbabies can only fight. But Hop Hop, your hand would break. Like, you know, even like this, like with your flesh, that just wouldn't make any sense, but, you know, whatever. Hop Hop's like, yeah, you better run. But look at this. Hop Hop's like, what? And Hop Hop is shocked. And Polly's like, oh, Hop Hop, what's wrong? And Polly's like, oh. And we just, look at this. Oh my goodness. And Hop Hop's like the herons, and Pa's like the ones who caught Mom and Dad. But Polly, why are you asking the same question twice? Like, is she asking a question? Oh, I think she was she finishing Hop Hop's sentence? No, because Hop Hop's like, those are the herons, and Polly's like the ones who caught Mom and Dad. And obviously they're kind of worried. Frobo's like looking at them, they're not paying attention, the herons are gonna go get them, and Anne's like, Hop Hop, Polly, you gotta get out of there or you're toast. Sprig, you gotta tell them to... Look at Sprig. Oh my goodness. I just want to play this right here.
I only have one memory of that day. It's the horrible sound the herons made. Frobo, get them out of it.
But Sprig said, I only have one memory of that day. And that was the horrible noise that the herons made. Obviously, Anne's like, oh, this is way too much for them. Frobo, you have to get them out of here. Frobo's like, yeah, okay. And, yeah, we have the herons. But look at Hop Hop and Polly. They're traumatized. They don't know what to do. Oh my goodness. Oh, in the comments, would you be terrified? In the next second, oh my goodness, Frobo catches them. And obviously, look at Frobo. They're really mad at the herons. How dare you? But, oh my goodness. They're all sweating, they're all nervous, and Frobo's like, oh my goodness. Obviously, the Air Force are shooting more missiles at the force field. It's not working. And then we have Grime with Barrel's Warhammer, Joan Yunnan, Lady Olivia, and Sasha with Joe Sparrow. Gonna go try to, do something. And we see, wouldn't the fire heat up the metal? I just think that would have been a nice touch. With like, yeah, it's real fire. And this is like the only way in. And Joe Smith just knocks them out. And they're like, okay, shut off the force field. Like, you know, I forgot what they said other something else. And I'm kind of thinking, were they planning on saving Marcy afterwards? Which I guess is fine. The vision can take like a long time, so that kind of makes sense. And they're all like, yeah, right, okay. Like they're going in. Then look at the flags. And like, you know, we see the evil, you know, the cloak bots, and they're like laughing, hee 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 hee. Okay. I was kind of thinking of doing 2 clips of this, you know, this clip right here. I mean, 2 sections of this clip, but I guess I decided to do one because there wasn't really like another one where I wanted to play something except for Sprig talking about the herons. So yeah, but basically they get inside and they're trying to turn off the force field. Of that, they have to I forgot. I think they were like doing something. No, they're gonna turn off the force field. But the cloak bots are here. General Yunnan and Lady Olivia is like, we'll handle the cloak bots. Sasha, Grime, you go. And they're like, we don't want to leave you to just go. Okay. And you know, General Yunnan and Lady Olivia, even General Yunnan has like a blaster Mr. X gave her, so that's pretty funny. And she's like, oh, were you with me to the end, my lady? And she's like, with you to the end. And so that's pretty nice. They developed that friendship. And they're basically trying to defeat some more cloak bots. They're doing the best they can. We get the Captain Grime and Sasha. And they run into, you know, Darcy, basically. And wait, no, what was it before that? Wait, no, actually, before that, basically, the planters basically shooken up, and Anne's like, guys, I know you're traumatized, but you need to get over this, so, like, we can win. Like you know, it's important. It's also important to get over your fears, and then they're kind of like, it's too horrible, and we can't do it. And it's trying to be understanding. And we basically see Mr. and Mrs. Boonchoy gonna get eaten by the herons. Oh, they're gonna eat Sprig and Polly's second parents, set of parents. Oh no. And they're about to be eaten. And I'm kind of thinking, is this a way for Anne to like stay in Amphibia? Probably, because like, if the parents are dead, like we don't really want Anne in a a foster home or something. So, and Hop Hop obviously loves Anne already as a granddaughter, or sees her as a granddaughter, so that would kind of make sense. So like, but it'll also be tragic. Oh my goodness, it's not only Anne's parents, Sprig and Polly's second set of parents. So obviously Hop Hop cares about them too. Then obviously Hop Hop, Sprig and Polly, we had to do this. Okay. They take a deep breath. They're kind of like, herons over here, and we see Mr. and Mrs. B are trapped in the bus. And then the herons obviously are looking at them. We start getting their attention. And Polly's like, you might have taken something important from us, but that's not going to stop us from defeating you. I love it. Hop Pop's like, what do you say, kids? Let's teach these monsters some manners. They slide their foot. All 3 of them do the planter family hunting dance. I love it. Mr. and Mrs. Boonchoy escape from the bus, go to Anne. They're like, what are they doing, Anne? And it's like, no way. The planter family hunting dance. They're doing it. And then they snap their fingers as an addition. And the herons are basically mesmerized. Polly's like, sit. No, sorry. Sprig's like, sit. And Polly's like, now go get those robots. Go kill them. Like, go get them. And the herons will basically go and get them. I love it. Frobos, like, evil Frobos with the, had the question marks for eyes. Like, what the heck are you supposed to be on our side? Herons, like, getting them. So they obviously had to attack the herons. Darcy's like, the herons, King Andrew said the herons would work. And he's like, I have another plan. Yeah, you better go fix this. And Darcy does not respect King Andreas whatsoever. And, he's like, you better not mess this up, Andreas. and he goes into this big suit thing, and it was actually kind of alluded to back in The Corn of the King in that flashback where we saw parts of it, like the head, and basically he's wearing the suit, and I want to say the head of it kind of reminds me of John Luke back in The Owl House season 2 episode what was it, 3? Yeah, it was Echoes of the Past, where the John Luke, the rock monster guy with with like the, I don't know what you call it, the red sludge thing that's kind of like attachments. So it kind of reminded me of that. Was it inspired from that? Maybe, but it isn't like a complete ripoff. It's more muscular, more robotic and stuff like that. It has more attachments, so it's fine. And basically we have King Andros basically does like a big slam, and he's like, "I'm Anne Boonchoy calling you out." And it's like, "Oh, what the heck?" And she's like, "Anne, I'm gonna call off this whole invasion if you can defeat me in 1-to-1 combat. 1 life for thousands, basically." So I wonder if he's thinking like to the death. Maybe. Who knows? And she's like, and then obviously Hopot's like, "Anne, don't do it, it's a trap." And then Anne has to, that, you know, the no, this is "Who am I?" And then Anne's like, "Trap or not, I have to do this, because before I met you 3, I let myself get bullied and pushed around because truly I didn't love myself." And I'm like, oh, that hits you hard. And but you 3 changed all that, and obviously all 3 of them hug Anne, and hugs them back, and there's like, "You got this, you better kick his butt." Like, you know, Hop Pop's like, "Couldn't said it better myself." And Anne's like, okay. She goes on Domino 2, and she goes up to, you know, King Andros, and she does a big superhero land, like dusts herself off. I love it. She's like, "You rang," and then King Andros is like, "Hey, Anne, before we start rumbling, before we start our rumble, I want to say something. What I underestimated you the first time I met you, a teenage girl that's scruffy hair and with leaves in it and 1 shoe." That's ridiculous. Like, you know, I couldn't believe it. Why the what was it? The prophecy chose you. Your heart gem, why it chose you. But I now see now you are a true warrior, and it's a true deception. You fooled me. And it's like, speak for yourself. You turned from Santa Claus to a supervillain very quickly there. And he's like, "Oh yeah, touche." I love their banter because they're kind of like parallels if you think about it, where King Andros is kind of like the heart gem in his trio. So that it kind of makes sense. And obviously they're kind of like standing off each other, and they're kind of like, oh, who's gonna win? What's gonna happen? And taps into her. Oh, even King Andros says, "I know the time limit of your precious powers. Can you really defeat me without passing out?" Well, let's see. And she like, we see the blue like lightning energy, and she makes like a fist. We hear the crackling. I love it. She goes full calamity mode, and you know, starts like about to go get them. King Andros immediately punches her, boom, into a building. She's like, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, you like my new suit, Anne?" Because yeah, King Andros got whooped last time, so obviously Anne's trying to do her best, and we have Captain Grime and Sasha gonna turn off the force field with the generator, and Darcy came in. "Oh, hello, Sasha. Hello, Grime. Like, what are you two doing here? Oh, it's so rude to come in uninvited." And you know, she's like, you know, and it's like, oh, like you know, she's talking like, you know, major stuff. And then Grime's like, "You think you can manipulate the Queen of Manipulation?" And then Sasha's like, "Thank you, Grime." I'm like, "Grime, seriously? Come on. Sasha didn't get past that. You know that more than anyone. You've been with her the most." And then Darcy's like, "Oh, yeah, you see, Sasha? Like, even though your colleagues like, think that." And it's not, then, "Oh, you want to know what Marcy really thinks of you?" And I'm like, "Ooh." And Sasha's like, "It doesn't matter what she thinks of me. I know what I think of me, and I'm going to save her and defeat you." She takes off her cape because she knows it's going to catch on fire. She takes out this scythe. Like, it was like part of her metal attachment. And then whoosh, it's like a fire lava scythe. She's like, "Let's rumble, girlfriend." And I'm like, oh my gosh. epic battle, 2 epic battles. And okay, this is where I'm gonna, bounce over to the next clip. So yeah, I'll see you in a little bit, but obviously the videos will be, the clips will be together, but I'll see you in a little bit. Okay. Okay, and we're back. I mean, these 2 clips are going to be merged together, but I just kind of want to say that. Before we get to Sasha being really mad right here, we get back to the fight between Sasha and Grime, and they're doing the best, and Grime, they're getting like smacked. They're getting smackarooed. And basically Grime has an idea. I have a plan, Sasha. I'll go. You go stop the generator and turn off the force field while I distract her. Sasha's like, you call that a plan? Grime's doing his best to get all those robot tentacles. Sasha's about to go get it. Darcy, throws her fire scythe and like a fire dagger, and then like across like her the back of her heel. Like, ooh, that's gonna probably leave a scar there. And she's like, ah. And like, and then she's like, but she's like, oh, well, Sasha, like, time to go. And she's like, and Grime's like, Sasha, look out, and pushes Sasha away. Grime lost an arm. Everyone thought it was Anne. Oh my. And it was Grime. There's no foreshadowing for Grime, which I guess it really doesn't have to be. But, And then, Darcy actually goes away because, goes away for a minute, like, oh my god, I didn't get Sasha. I mean, she's like, well, that's fine, I don't care about Grime. But Sasha takes off her fur, cape, because that's why you're seeing that she doesn't have that on right now. But she puts it over Grime's arm. Grime actually kind of passes out, and she's like, Grime, you big dummy, why'd you do that? And he's like, Sasha, listen to me. Before I met you, I was nothing. I was just a bully in a tower. But you taught me that I could be so much more. And if you can change, that means I can change. And if you can do that, that means you can do anything. You can do this. And obviously, Grime passes out. And then Darcy, oh my goodness, she's like, he's disarmed. Get it? Disarmed. This is where we get to Sasha. And like I said before, she has a bit of muscle right there. If the camera's allowing me to point in the right direction. See, and how I said back in the Thor Love and Thunder official trailer that I posted yesterday. I was talking about the Mighty Thor as Jane Foster, of how she has muscle, not too much muscle, but she has muscle. And I said how in that video, Sasha, in the Resistance, she's been working out and she gained a little muscle. This is it right here. So obviously Jane's is a bit bigger and Thor's is much bigger. So there you go. That's to scale, sort of. It's hard to do for scale because Sasha's a cartoon and Jane Foster is live action. So, but what are you gonna do? We get Sasha enraged with how dare you, because Grime's like a father figure to Sasha, and they've been through a lot, and and Grime's kind of like an uncle to her, so it kind of makes sense why Sasha's really mad. And he was also her friend. And I don't think you ever got a good look at Darcy before. This is Darcy. This is the first time you're looking at her. Oh, okay. So in case you're wondering, this is the lava fire scythe. And obviously Sasha's enraged trying to get Darcy. And Darcy's trying to do the best she can to dodge, and she's doing this metal spike thing. Sasha just slices it. Oh, oops. Sasha's gonna get her. We get the Anne versus King Andres, and this is the robot suit I was talking about. And everyone's watching this oh my goodness. And we have Dr. Jan and Terry. Look at Humphrey. He gets knocked over. He's an old man, so that makes sense. But you see how I'm saying how it looks like John Luke, but from the Owl House? You see, like, this thing with the tiny eyes? It looks like him, right? But obviously there's, like, a tail and stuff. It looks different. And obviously King Andrew's like, why fight it, Anne? Your world is gonna crumble. And, like, just punches her. And, it punches her again. And look, like, slamming across the glass. Ooh. And then King Andrew's like, you're gonna ruin your friendships one day. And then Anne's like, so you want me to give up then? Stop feeling things like you. This holds King Andrews for a second because Anne gets an advantage. And then boom, knocks him. Like, you see King Andrews like, ugh. And, like, he presses the button. Uses his tail, like, the orange to create these, I don't know, like salamanders, these new things to, like, to go get Anne, basically. And she's like, Andreas, I need to say something to you. I pity you. And she, like, summons her sword she got from Tritonio, which is pretty cool. And then, it slices across the ground. I'm gonna do this with, like, no sound, because I just want you to look at this right here. Like, oh my goodness. The way that she just, with the 2 fingers just with the sword. Oh my goodness, that was awesome. And she's like, you shut yourself away from the world, didn't you? She's cutting all those salamanders, like, boom, 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 boom. And then, and I just want to play this right here. And she's like, 1,000 years of suffering, of bearing your feelings, of hating yourself, like, that must have been hard. And again, she feels pitiful, and then obviously King Andrews just doesn't want to hear this. I don't want you to talk about my feelings. He's like, enough. He looks like gigantic, and boom, pounds her, like, and then boom, and like she loses her blue form. Obviously, everyone's like freaking out, and look, all hope lost. Yeah, and with her only hope, the army wasn't doing anything. She's looking up, and boom, and obviously, hey, look, love choice too. Anyway, Sprig, and you get to see everyone. You get to see Sprig, Polly, New Frobo, Mr. and Mrs. Boonchoy, Hop Hop, Mr. X, and Jenny. If you wonder what, like, the suits look like for Mr. and Mrs. Boonchoy, there you go. And then, and Sprig's like, if only there's a way to let Anne know that we're behind her. Obviously, Mr. and Mrs. Boonchoy knows something. Hit it, Mr. X. And he's like, behold, your textile is at work. Okay. Gets his remote out. And then, boom. Like, he has this bunch of speakers placed. Hey, Anne, take a look at this. And Mr. X is recording this as to connect with the TV. Hey, and they're all encouraging Anne. Anne, you can do this. You can kick his butt. You can do this. Get up. And, like, you can do this. And it's K-pop. I'm a big fan of K-pop. But also another thing, they don't play it, like, too long. But a lot of people say it wasn't long enough. So, I'm 50-50 on it. But and say, hey, look, it's I forgot the song she said from it's basically Blackpink. K-pop. It's like save your life. Obviously, Anne's getting encouragement. She's knocking King Andreas. She's like doing, and obviously you see the song, hear the song. Oh, you can do it and stuff like that. And it transitions to Sasha. And I just want to play this right here. We see Sasha cut into Sasha cut into Sasha. Sasha cut into Darcy's face because we hear the music in the background, and then you see Sasha stomp her foot, and she thinks that was for Grime, and you see her bleed green. I guess part of the tank. I guess is Marcy gonna bleed green forever? Who knows? As long as Marcy's okay, then I guess everything's fine. But you see Darcy's kind of, oh yeah, I guess you got me. And then whoosh, we see this mist thing. Like, it disappears at the, Darcy. Obviously, Sasha's kind of, where did you go? And basically we have oh, we even see. I forgot at one point the battle between Grime, Sasha, and Darcy, where you see, Darcy going like does like a laugh, and we actually get the Marcy kind of does like a nice laugh, and she's like, "Oh, Aldrich, this is a great map, but kind of getting kind of lonely. I'm no offense." He's like, "Oh, no, I'm taken, my dear," and brings like Anne and Sasha, and he said, "Don't you like your new outfit?" Because even Marcy said, "Oh, you two look great," because it's like a reference to Breath of the Wild for Sasha and Legend of Zelda to Anne. For Anne's outfit. "Don't you like your new outfit?" And she's kind of like a warlock person, which is pretty cool. It's like, "We're right ahead of you, Marmar. Let's go. We're having fun." And then at this point where, in like the tornado and we see images of Anne and Marcy. And oh, hey Sash, and she's like, "You think these dumb tricks can work on me?" And we have Darcy like, "Too easy," and whoosh, slices her across the back. "Oh, that's gonna leave another scar." And she's like, "Oh," like, oh my goodness, like Sasha's like down for the count. Like, oh my goodness. She's her back was sliced. We get back to Marcy, and she's kind of looking for Anne and Sasha like, "Let's go, Marmar." "Oh, what area do you want to explore first, girls?" "Whatever you want, Marmar." And she's kind of like, "Oh, great," because that's what Marcy wants. It flashes back to true colors, and back to both Sasha and Anne, and back to Anne kind of going away from Marcy, and she's like, "What did you say?" "Whatever you want, Marmar." She's like, "This isn't real, isn't it?" And we see Aldrich kind of getting mad, and she's like, "The real Sasha and Anne don't want what I want, and it hurts, but forcing them to do my dream is wrong." We have Aldrich like, "Marcy, we are tired of this. We gave you your dumb fantasies and your idiotic friends." Like, he's calling Sasha and Anne idiots. "No, it's time for you to be submitted into the core, like right now. We're tired of this." Because her mind isn't fully submitted into the core, where she's become one of the greatest minds of Amphibia, basically. And basically she slaps away Aldrich's hand. "No, only a coward would run away in here. So I rejected some fantasy and I reject you," which is cool. And she's using the BFF code to do this like beam of light thing to blind Aldrich a little bit, and he has the orange eyes. Sorry, I just kind of went on a brighter image. Yeah, I'll just use this right here. And basically, he's like, "Oh, foolish child, only thing out there for you is misery and heartbreak." And like, he's like, "Oh, if you do win, if by any chance you do win, your parents are still gonna split you girls apart and ruin your life." And then Marcy's like, "I came into a fantasy trying to escape that reality. That got me in trouble. Now it's time for me to leave it." She's like, "Fine, child, then suffer in eternal darkness, and then soon your personality will fade completely." And then we have a final shot of Marcy back in her school uniform. Not school uniform. Well, yeah, I guess school uniform is the St. James logo on the jacket. And she's like, "Sasha, Anne, I believe in you." And we get to like, oh, what's gonna happen? We have Anne like, boom, defeats King Andres, and she crosses her arms. It's over for Andres. Call off the invasion. And she's trying to figure out a way out, but he's not thinking of one. Oh, Anne won. You see Anne's powers are running out. She's like, no. And he's like, "Oh, your powers finally ran out. Oh, you were so close too." She was. She called more evil Frobos. "Oh, what are we gonna do?" And so Sprig's like, "I need to go help Anne." Boom, and he drops a letter. Mr. X picks it up. "Hey, little man, you dropped this." And his glasses can read infrared, basically. "Oh, hey, I found a letter to King Andres." And Sprig's like, "What?" "Hey, this letter to King Andres." And my glasses picking it up. And then Hop's like, "You notice how? I'm a super spy. It's kind of my job. Like, I'm an agent of government." Sprig just takes off Mr. X's glasses and reads it for himself. He could have asked Sprig, whatever. And then he's like, "I gotta go get to Anne. Like, Oh, I forgot what he used. Was it Frobo? No, I think it might have been Domino. No, he used the heron actually. He uses his tongue to swing on the lamppost. He goes on top of a heron. They're using to go get Anne, and Anne's like, and he said, "Oh, heck, heck is over." She's trying to get King Andres. King Andres just grabs her finger, throws her down. Obviously, he jumps from the heron to comfort Anne. The heron's attacking King Andres. King Andres just grabs the throat of the heron, throws it down in the city. And then Spring's like, "Hey, King Andres, catch!" And boom, him in the face. Oh, 2 for 1. Why not? And then Spring's like, "Andres, stop, please. I have a letter from Leaf." And obviously, King Andres stops, because obviously that was his old friend. He's reading the letter. It says Andres. He's like, how do you know that name? And then I found this letter in my family basement. She was the one who betrayed you, wasn't she? And yeah, she was. And she's like, so what if she was? She still has one more thing to say about you. He gets the glasses from out of nowhere, like out of nothing. He reads the letter to Andres, and he's like, "My dearest Andres," and we have a letter from Leaf. Oh my goodness. I wish I could play some of it, but I don't have that available. But, she's basically saying, Andres, I know you must hate me. And she's actually writing this as an old lady. I know you must hate me, but please hear me out. This letter might never reach you. But I just want to tell you that I did return back to Amphibia after putting the Calamity Box back to, giving it to Earth, basically. I came back to Amphibia, and I knew I could never return back to the castle. We see her release the Moss Man back in the mountains. And that's where Anne and Wally found them, basically. The Misty Moors, basically. And basically we have Leaf saying that, she founded Wartwood. And says the population, was it 18 or something? Or was it 8? And I think it might have been 8. And she's like, change was hard and was scary, but it took me a while to open my heart again. And she said, you and Beryl really never left by my side. And she actually found, a new love interest, some other guy. But she's still saying, and at the end of the letter it says, from your Leaf. So I'm kind of wondering, does she still have feelings for Andres? Who knows? But I'm sure they were, really happy. And she probably explained to the farmer guy that she used to be with King Andres, probably. I mean, probably. We don't know. But basically, Leaf saying, Andres, please, don't close off your heart. Don't shut yourself out. Learn to love again and learn to heal and learn to change and learn to grow. And Spur's like, sincerely, your Leaf. When gets a letter from out of Spur's hands, King Andres in the robot suit grabs the letter. He opens up his helmet. He's like, after all these years, I thought you have forgotten me, my dear friend. He's crying. He's banging on the top of the building. They're on top of a building. He's like, but you're too late. All the pain I caused, the torment I did, there's no going back. And obviously, Anne's like, oh, King Andres not budging. He's not going to change. But Anne's like, come on, powers. But it's not really working. She's glowing a little bit. Sprig's obviously trying to comfort Anne. We basically sorry. And basically we have Darcy is about to kill Sasha. We had the scythe right to Sasha's throat, and Sasha's like, do your worst. Sasha's not budging, and she's not showing any fear. Darcy's like, sure, Sasha, it's been fun. And then she gets a reading in the core, and she's like, oh, Andres, what are you doing? And you're obviously King Andres crying. And she's like, the first time we see the core actually Darcy talking to Aldrich, the father, directly. She's like, Aldrich, your son is being a weakling. Tell him to stop. He's ruining everything. And then Darcy's like, hey, Sasha's a fellow control freak. You're gonna love this. And she's using some sort of pain or mind control with the crown, kind of getting King Andres to get back into line, basically follow orders. So he's like, and basically Grime basically uses his foot to like kick Sasha. I think it was like the silver sword. I think, she grabs it and she remembers Anne's words. She's trying to. She's been sliced in a couple of places. She's hearing Anne's words. It's not who we were that matters, Sasha. It's who we are now that counts. Yeah, Sasha kind of sweating because you're in a hot room and stuff like that, and we have Darcy like, oh, Andres, we're all you need. You don't need to leave. You don't need all those stupid people in your life that were in your life. That were in your life. We're all you need. We care about you, basically, which is not true. And we have King Andres kind of like sum it back to the core, kind of like because the pain stopped, so he obviously stopped. Ugh. And we have Sasha like, whoosh, and she's like, I'm not that person anymore. And Darcy like drops her lava scythe, and she's like, yo, searching your body. Oh, you missed. And Sasha like, you want to bet? And poof, she's like, no. But the cord got sliced. Like, no, you have Andy. What you just done? And she's like, no. The same scream back in Olivia and Yunnan. So, and we basically had the Darcy eyes all over the place. You see, like, right here and here and here. Get poof, smashed. We have Darcy fall. The helmet. Poof. And we have Sasha like, Marcy, please wake up. We basically have Anne trying to power up one last time. One last go. One final stand. She powers up enough. She's gonna basically punch Andres, and we have King Andres kind of reflecting back on Leaf's words in the letter. Don't close yourself off. Let your heart open again. King Andres like, okay. Opens up more of how he opens up a little bit with the helmet off. He opens up more, that shows more of his body. We have Anne kind of like, huh? I think she went off more to the right a little bit, but it's kind of hard to tell. And then King Andres, the robot's like, boom, defeated. Sprig catches Anne. Everyone's like, and Polly's like, she did it. Everyone LA's like proud, and everyone's like, yay, we did it. And and then he said, oh, Anne, you did it, you won. And we hear from Andres, and Sprig's like, that's Sprig. Anne's like, Andres, what? And he's like, living for 1,000 years was not without sacrifice. And he sees the part robot. Oh, jeez. And obviously they're like, oh, but we have to see the force fields down also, because Sasha dealt with that. And then Andres, he cares about Marcy. He's like, Anne, what do you want? He's like, Marcy, you must rescue Marcy. And it's like, okay, well, we gotta go. We go to Marcy. Marcy's knocked down. We have Sasha and Anne just like comforting Marcy, and Sasha's like, we love you, Marcy. And it's like, we forgive you, basically. Her tears, like kind of, they're not magic tears, but she was just knocked down. She's just waking up, so the tears kind of helped her wake up, so that kind of makes sense. And she's like, oh, Anne, Sasha, and obviously Anne's kind of crying a little bit. Oh, Marcy, and then Sasha, Marcy, you're alive. She's fully crying, and they're just hugging. Sasha's like, I'm not Sasha. Marcy's like, guys, I'm sorry I trapped you here. Moving was just way too big. And it's like, I get it, Marcy, but you had to understand. What you did was not okay. And like it or not, things change. We're not the same people, and we can't stop it. But not time or distance is going to destroy this friendship. Like, but if we happen to go our separate ways, that's fine too, and we have to accept that. And then obviously they're hugging each other, and then but to kind of funny, but light humor. Can you believe that we just resolved the ancient invading empire? We just destroyed it. And then Marcy's like, oh, we have video proof like for a job out. But Sasha says that we can use that to get like jobs. Basically, it's gonna look good for references. And Marcy's like, we have video proof, so that's pretty cool. All the planters are hugging. We have Frobo does a big giant look. They're like, no, Frobo, and poof, crushes them. Oh, jeez. And then we basically have sorry. But basically we have Marcy out of her core, her Darcy uniform, her metal armor. She's back in her regular outfit, and they're like, oh, can you let us know, our parents, that we're gonna be home soon? So now they're talking about their parents, but all over the seasons, they never mentioned them once. And I just want to say for spoilers for the next episode, which is the finale, they don't show up. And it was, now it's been all over TV. It should be easier to explain to them. But it's kind of seemed that Sasha and Marcy don't care about their parents, because how for like 6 months can you not talk about your parents? Because I kind of thinking maybe Sasha doesn't like her dad or her mom, and I was thinking maybe Sasha's going to call Grime dad or uncle, and that was going to probably talk about something, maybe a tower or something like that. Marcy kind of meant... Marcy was the closest of kind of mentioning the parents, and Sasha just now saying, can you let our parents know that we're okay? That's the only mention you mentioned your parents. What? But whatever. And then, Mrs. Boonshow's like, yeah, it'll be easier to explain. And then we have Mr. X using the herons to clean up, like, the robot damage, basically. Yeah, good herons. Hey, stop that, basically. Sorry, I need water. And, we basically, like, okay, let's open the Calamity Box, and let's go through the portal. We see everyone sees the castle go through the portal. And, what happens next? The three armies came back, which is cool. They're defeating the evil robots. They defeated all of them. We see the castle. They're like, and Polly's like, I stuck the landing. No, you didn't, Polly. And then I was like, who let Polly drive? I wonder who did it. Maybe it was Frobo or something. And they're kind of looking like, well, like, everything's resolved, basically. Excuse me. You even have Grime with his one arm getting like with a group hug, which is pretty funny. We have everyone kind of... even Sasha says, we guess we didn't need that prophecy. And Marcy's like, prophecy? What prophecy? And then Marcy's missed a lot. And we have Sprig kind of... because even when Anne was kind of saying not time or distance will destroy friendships, so we have Sprig kind of holding up, grabbing his arm and like kind of thinking of what Hop Hop said, that Anne's gonna go back to her life, and we have Sprig basically talking to Anne. Hey Anne, I need to talk to you. Oh yeah, well sure. Well, what's up, little brother? Well, what's up? Are things gonna change between us? Like things change between you, Sasha, and Marcy? Well, not exactly, because every change is different. But we'll face it together. And Sprig's like, okay. We have Anne looking away in the distance. You have Sprig kind of looking up, and he's kind of like rubbing his eyes, like, it's just me. He's squinting his eyes. Is it just me? Or is the moon getting bigger? Coming closer? Everyone's kind of looking like, what? And then Anne's like, the final words of the episode. Anne's like, what? What's going on? And the credits is the music box, like, doing this creepy tone of the moon, red moon, coming closer and closer and closer with the credits. Oh my goodness. What time is it? I think this episode is probably going to be more than an hour long, because that's what this episode was when it was live. It's like more than an hour long, so it kind of makes sense. What, right? It was an hour? I'm not sure. Maybe it was like 40 minutes of the episode. Not this. This is like definitely more than an hour. But what should I rate this episode? Let me see. 95. 90, 85, 80, 75. 85. B plus. I thought this was a great episode. All in. 85%. I thought it was, B plus. I guess really my only complaints were, again, like the dimension of the parents and how they just don't come into play. What else? Oh, Allie and Jess weren't part of creating Frobo, which isn't too much of a big deal. Just come on. Sorry. Well, what was that final thing? I guess Frobo kind of like, I think it was like Frobo either tackling the family and even say, "Oh, Frobo, don't jump," but he jumped anyway, or it was Polly like steering the castle and it landed in the water. It was either one of those two things. But yeah, 85%. This was a great episode. Ominous ending with the moon. Are they gonna destroy the moon? Is the core part of the moon? Is the Calamity Box part of the moon? The gems? Are Sasha and Marcia gonna get powers? Who knows? Are we gonna see any of the parents in the well, I mean not the other parents, Mr. and Mrs. Boonchoy? We're gonna see them in the final episode. I mean, who knows? But yeah, everyone, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, give me a big thumbs up, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to share the video, and I'll see you guys. Oh yeah, later today. This is such a big video. It doesn't seem too late, so yeah. If it's tomorrow, it's tomorrow. But pretty sure later today for the series finale. Wow, the series finale. The series finale of Amphibia, called The Hardest Thing. Amphibia Season 3, Episode 18. Season 3 finale to series finale. The Hardest Thing. What is the hardest thing? Is it the hardest thing for everyone or just for one person? It might be for everyone. Who knows? But yeah, I'll either see you later today or tomorrow for that. I'll see you guys then. Alright. Bye.